Guys, we're Keepin it Heale, and today we're going to show you how we made teardrops.
Let's go for it.
So we're just going to dive straight in, and we usually start a track with the chords because we get quite a few questions, don't we, on DMs on social media and all that sort of thing about how do you guys start a track, like where do you start from. So with us it's usually always the chords, and then we'll kind of go from there and get a kick in, and kind of that gives us the groove for the track really.
Yeah, for this one though we didn't actually use chords. We just used like a bass bass line, and then kind of we had a little bit of an ARP kind of thing going on, but we didn't use pianos or anything like that, did we?
No, not really. It was an M1 organ, wasn't it, that we used in Teardrops.
So I'll play this. It's literally just a Reese bass and an ARP, and then just a simple organ. But what we normally do is to get kind of the melody of the bass line, we normally play it with the vocal, don't we?
Yeah.
To kind of get that groove and the kick. So you play it like this. It's kind of where the groove comes from.
Yeah. I think that's really important for your tracks, because if you're not getting like an individual groove, or you're not getting like something that's, you're going to really feel the vibe from the track from that. So I think it's really important to try and start off with your chords and then bring everything else in around it. And then when you've done that, that'll form your basis or foundation for the track, won't it?
Yeah, and you want to make sure that it like flows well together with your vocal as well. Otherwise, it's just not going to sound, might not sound right. I mean, you might end up getting lucky and it does sound good with it, but it's best to obviously play it all at the same time. Just use your ears.
Yeah, we've been asked that a few times before, like how do you make the chords, how do you get it to flow so well with the the vocal that you've got. It's either just matching it in with the vocal, or you want the notes to hit in between the vocal as well.
It is a bit of trial and error, to be fair, like just throwing at the wall and seeing what sticks.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I think we'll show you the rest of this. For this was the first breakdown, wasn't it?
Yeah.
We'll show you this for the first breakdown, and then we'll show you the drop afterwards, so we can kind of see how we've built up to it.
Yeah. So we have got a drum pattern in, but we filtered the kick. So if I play it, there's no low end. So you might not even have noticed that it was there, but it just kind of it just gives it a bit of groove, doesn't it? Kind of adds attack on certain pluck hits. So I think that was a good idea. I like.
Is that the sub in with it as well?
What?
Got the sub in with it as well, haven't we? So if Dan plays the kick with the sub as well, you'll hear that gives a lot of groove to the track. We did it in the intro as well, didn't we? So you'll see at the intro, like I think it starts off with a kick.
Alright, yeah, we brought sub in after the 8 bars, and it was kind of like a tech.
It gives it like a tech vibe, doesn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it does give it that kind of tech vibe, even though it's more deep house, isn't it?
Yeah.
I should just go into the drop now.
Yeah. So up to the drop, like just the build up before the drop that we've got in here. People always ask as well, like how do you create so much energy? We use a plugin from Dada Life, don't we?
Yeah.
So there's a couple that you can get. You can get sausage fattener, and we've got one open here as well, which you'll find which adds intensity to it, called Endless Smile. So if Dan opens that one for you.
If you don't use it, then I recommend that you do. Literally, all you do is you put it on the master channel, and then while you build up playing, you just automate the knob to turn up, and it's literally got like built-in sweeps, delays, reverbs, filter. It just like creates so much tension, and it's just so easy because it's just one knob.
And that's just a soft preset as well, isn't it, that we've got on there? So you get some different ones. I think is it soft, medium, and high? Is that what's on it?
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'll just play the build up, and then I'll turn the knob. I'll do it like over exaggerated so you kind of hear all the effects. Just a good way of building that tension, like really simple as well. But another thing that we'll always put on the master channel is a gain plugin to automate it, to bring the volume down just before the drop comes in, and then you put it back to 0, and that just
makes it hit harder, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's like psychological because your ears probably don't even notice it, but it just makes it sound like it's hitting harder, even though it's just all it's doing is reducing the volume. And then a filter as well, cutting out all the lows. It's just another good thing.
I think as well, and you'll hear with Michaela's vocal, there's the vocal at the bottom, is it?
Yeah.
You'll hear with Michaela's vocal as well. She's done a really good job on it. But she's added some ad libs in as well, and that's just before the drop. So you'll hear here.
I'll be true. I'll be true. I'll be true. I'll be true.
So she's got some nice ones in there, but then she's got this one which really gives it a lot of energy just before it drops. So I think if you can get like, obviously because you've got a bit of a gap before it drops, if you can get a really nice ad-lib in there before it drops, it gives it a lot of energy.
Or even just like part of the vocal but like pitched down or something, just to kind of make it a bit different.
Yeah.
It's just being creative like that. I suppose that's just little things can make a big difference. And then on the drop,
Footsteps on the dance floor. Remind me, baby, of you.
One of the common questions that we always get asked as well is what bass do you use? What synths are you using in your tracks? Is that one just from Vengeance?
it's a Vengeance sample that I've put in the sampler. Just this sound. All it's got on is it's got an EQ on the actual sample, just boosting the highs and cutting up the lows because we've got a sub as well. But on the bass group we've got compression. We've got a glue compressor just because we've got two basses on there, and this kind of glues them together and just makes it sound more like one complete sound. And then an EQ again, cutting all the lows because the sub is part of a different group. So we've got a sub bus for that, and then sidechain, nothing major, and then the second bass sample is just a massive preset. This just gives it some body.
See that synth there is quite good to use, and we use it in quite a few of our tracks. But people always ask as well, like, how did you what's changed with your sub, or what's changed with your synth that you've got? To be honest with you, nothing really changes. It's just we change the octave. So an example of that is we always use that synth from Vengeance that we just showed you there. But in Ladbroke Grove, for example, where it was a bit more urban, which would carry a bit more that edgy vibe, we just put it up an octave. So if Dan puts it up an octave there, it just shows you that you can make it sound completely different.
I'll just play it. Just gives it more of a dirty sound, doesn't it?
Yeah, it makes it a bit more edgy. So, and that's what you need for if you're making something quite urban, or you've got like an urban remix, like for example when we had AJ Tracy's Ladbroke Grove. That's what we did with that.
Yeah. If I play these two sounds together and then I'll take that massive one out, you realise the difference that it does make. You might not be able to hear that unless you listen on headphones or monitors, but it does give it a lot more thickness and body. Also, Michaela's vocal, she asked us to add some delay on. I'll play the bit. It was kind of like a slap delay, just to fill up these empty spaces. You see, there's like a blank space just here.
Yeah.
It was just to fill them gaps, really.
Remind me, baby, of you.
Like that. I'll turn it off. And you hear what it did sound like before that.
Remind me, baby, of you.
Oh, it's because it's on there as well. Whoops.
Remind me, baby, of you.
So you just kind of need something
Yeah.
extra, doesn't it? And that really works.
Remind me, baby, of you.
We did that in the intro as well, didn't we? Where we
Oh yeah.
made it. I think in the intros, we do it in a couple of different ways. You want to start off quite minimal, don't you? You don't want to start off with everything straight away.
Yeah, maybe just like a drum loop,
Yeah.
just with nothing kind of going on.
I mean, especially like if you're making an extended or a radio edit, but if you're DJ and things like that, you probably want to give yourself a chance to be able to mix it in. So that's why we tend to use in a lot of our music, we tend to always start with an extended edit or put at least 16 bars in.
Normally
don't
the
we?
first 8 bars are just like minimal drums, and then after that kind of bring in elements
Yeah.
from the drop. Like for this one we brought in the vocal just to like kind of give
So-
people an idea of what's to come.
In there, you want to start bringing in like pianos, or you want to start bringing in like a sub or a bass, or you want to start bringing in like, even on some tunes like where you've done vocal chops, etc. We've brung in vocal chops or something like that. But the important thing is when you bring things in after 8 bars, we always like to put a filter on it, don't we? Because you
Yeah.
don't want to give too much away, but also you want to introduce it slowly. It doesn't want to be like boom too much in your face, because you've got to think about that transition from the first 8 bars to the next 8 bars as well. So that's what we usually do in other songs as well, which you'll see.
I'll just
as
play
well.
this delay part that we kind of use on the vocal.
Remind me, baby, of you.
I think it's just this.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe not. Maybe it's this one. It's just H delay from Waves. It's quite heavy delay, but it kind of fills up that gap. It means you don't have to like find other vocals to put in. You can just use this one, and it kind of does its thing. It's much easier. Anything else?
So went to the second breakdown. Do you want to show them how we transitioned from a drop into a second breakdown?
Yeah, we can do. What we normally do is we kind of have a fill or something like that. In this one, we used this kind of clap fill that had gone on through the entire tune. It's just a clap from Mark Knight's pack, I think, is it?
The splice.
Maybe it is, yeah.
Yeah.
We layered it with this cowbell sometimes. Just to make it a bit different, like just alternate between the two. And then a snare roll. So if I play that transition without all these fills, it doesn't sound as smooth. It still sounds alright, but when you add them in, it just kind of fills it up and gives it that bit more.
I think for me as well, an uplifter and a sweep always makes a difference, doesn't it?
Yeah, and then make sure you're getting them crashes in and downlifters, just so that like the listener can tell that the sound's changing. You know,
Yeah.
the other elements are being brought in or taken out.
So in the second breakdown, obviously we continued that organ that we had with the bass and the sub and that little arp. Pretty much similar thing. We just had where the vocal changed. And then as it built up into the second drop.
Yeah, we want to change something to make it like not a copied job, kind of, didn't we?
Yeah, because you don't want to just copy and paste stuff across. I mean, once you've got your first breakdown, an intro, and a drop done, your track's pretty much finished. It's just changing a few elements to it to make it sound different, because people are going to get bored if you just keep the same thing. So what we decided to do was is we just had that raw, that bass sound that Dan will play for you in a second.
Now.
Footsteps on the dance floor. Remind me, baby, of you.
So basically, we just cut out all the drums, kick, clap, hi-hat, shaker, everything like that. Just had the raw bass sound with the sub, no kickstart, or no sidechain or anything like that. Just like this.
For me as well, what we always do is we always reverse the first note on a bass sound, so that introduces the sound that's about to come. So that
kind of pulls you in, doesn't it?
Yeah, so your ear's ready for it. Because sometimes I think, with your mix downs and things like that, you've got to be very aware about what your ear can hear and the transitions that we've got going
I'll
on.
play it without that, without the reverse. See, it's a bit harsh and it just feels like something's missing, doesn't it? And then you add that in.
It's a dramatic.
Footsteps on the dance floor.
Pulls you into that first note. You can feel it coming. And another thing, in that little kind of break thing going on the first two bars here, we've got a reverse crash as well, because that just brings it in to, you can feel that something's coming, and it's the kick and all the drums coming back in.
Dance floor. Remind me, baby.
You can play it without that.
Dance floor. Remind me, baby, of you.
It still sounds alright, but
Your ear's got no idea that it's coming though, does it? It's
not until the last second.
Yeah.
Because I think I've got another one that's kind of a reverse crash as well.
Yeah. So we just decided to make it a little bit different on that second drop, and then it kind of follows the same structure after that, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So then you'll hear it going out into an outro. Now with an outro, we want elements of the track, so the bass, etc., being phased out gradually, because sometimes what happens is with an outro, people just think, oh well, you should stick your kick and your drums on at the end and that's an outro. It's not really.
Yeah, all I want to do really for the intro and outro is just copy and paste the drop and just take out
elements.
like the bass and the piano and stuff. Just take out different elements just to like reduce it down.
Yeah, and you just do it gradually. So I think on ours we had that bass noise for 8 bars.
Yeah, and then just into the sub,
and then
just by itself.
Yeah, so you can hear on that if we just play even 8 of you from 101 maybe.
Remind me, baby, of you.
And back again with that delayed vocal. It's just like things like that, just taking out the vocal, taking out the sub, taking out the plucks, just to kind of reduce it back down to a drum loop, I suppose. So that's how we made Teardrops. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I hope you learned something from us today.
So don't forget to subscribe to our channel, like the video, and turn them notifications on. See you later.